Hello and good evening. Welcome everyone to the Our Minds 2020 podcast. How have you all been? How has the past week treated you? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it all right? You don't want to talk about it? That's absolutely fine. If you do want to talk about it, if you do want to mention something to me, head over to my Instagram page, which is also called, guess what? Our Minds 2020. Send me a DM. Let me know how you've been if you want to talk for a little bit. I don't mean that to sound rude, but talking through DMs is kind of hard. I don't mind giving advice and catching up with people, but to have a full-blown conversation on direct messenger on Instagram is kind of hard. Anyway, that's not the point of today's podcast. So today's episode, I'm going to be talking about fear. Yes, fear. Dun dun dun. Do you know, I actually tried to find the sound effect for that what is it? Is it a tune? That theme? Let's call it a theme. Dun dun dun. We all know that theme. If you don't know that theme, boy, I don't know. I don't know. I can't help you. But anyway, I'm gonna ask a question, and I want you guys to answer this question for yourself. Okay? The question is, what is fear to you? That's the question. I'm really sorry if you can hear babies crying in the background. I don't have a child. There are no babies in this flat. It's actually next door. They've got a bunch of kids and the walls here are very, very thin. So those are the babies that you can hear. Anyway, so what is fear to you? You're also asking me, Jemima, what is fear to you? For me, fear is not knowing and facing the outcome of things I'm scared about doing or saying. Did that make sense? Not knowing and facing the outcome of things I'm scared about doing or saying. My fear, Lord, my fear, I have so many fears. I have fears, I'm fearful of bees. Laugh if you will, I don't really care. I'm fearful of bees. I'm fearful of speaking in public. I'm fearful when my phone rings. And I think I've said this before in one of the earlier episodes. I'm fearful of when the phone rings. I'm scared that I'm going to hear some really bad news on the other end of the line. I mean, I'm fearful of many things. As I've been getting older, and especially since I would say maybe 2019, like it was such a long time ago, since last year and definitely this year, the one thing that I am become extremely fearful of is trusting. And trusting what is on the other side of whatever it is that's going on with me now. And because I'm such an anxious person, I'm somebody who I like to know what's going on. I like to know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, the steps I need to do in order to get there and make it happen. But in life, you don't really know how anything is really going to happen for you. You think you know, you think to yourself, yeah, okay, if I do this, and if I go here, and if I spend more time doing that, and if I save a bit of money, and if I travel to this place, and if I get a job there, then boom, it's going to work out. And the reality is, yeah, it doesn't really work out like that. Through my experience, and maybe I'm just one unfortunate chick. Maybe, I don't know, the stars are not in line for me. I don't know. But there have been times where I've lined up all my ducks. All my ducks have been lined up and I'm thinking, yep, I've got this duck, that duck, this other duck, and this fifth duck here. And I've done all the steps and all the things that I need to do in order to get me to this point. What should then happen? All my ducks start going crazy. One duck dies, another duck deflates, another duck drowns. I'm left with no ducks and I'm in the pond thinking to myself, okay, so where do I go now? Who's going to help me how am I going to help myself? And it makes me hugely anxious. I suppose that means I'm somebody who likes to be in control. And it's interesting because I would never describe myself as someone who is controlling, but I like to be in control of things. I probably sound like I'm contradicting myself, but again, I remind you guys, when I have an idea or I'm thinking something in my head, to verbalize it, it comes out slightly different. But yeah, I like to be in control by knowing what's happening with me. I don't want to control other people's lives. Oh, that's too much hard work. Oh, no. But I like to be in control with the outcome of my own life. So anyway, going back onto fear. Well, I was talking about fear, but other things I should say, that were really fearful, or that I found fearful, were friends, in terms of making new friends, starting this podcast, starting my Instagram page, and then there are other things that make me fearful, like my life. So things like my career, if I'm ever going to be able to have kids, oh my gosh, am I ever going to fall in love again? And things like that. So we'll start with the first point, friends. Friends. So I've never had the biggest friendship group. I quickly realized that a lot of the people I was hanging around with, no disrespect, not like they were the cool kids, but they all were very much interested in the same thing, which was going out clubbing, getting drunk, having boyfriends and girlfriends and sleeping around. And, I'm not shaming anybody. That's what they want to do. Crack on with your life, be safe and go live it. God bless you. Amen. For me, I was very much somebody who, I love listening to 80s music. I love staying at home and watching films. And if I do want to go out, I love going for walks. I love going for afternoon tea. Love going to the cinema. Those are things that I liked doing. And even to this day, I never have been, and I don't think I ever will be, the biggest club goer. I get super anxious. I hate queuing. And even when my name is on the guest list, when I walk up to the bouncer, regardless of whether I'm by myself or my friends, when I walk up to the bouncer and they're like, oh, yeah, what's your name? And I tell them my name, I have this fear inside me that they're just going to look at me up and down and say to me, yeah, even though you're on the guest list, you don't look the part. You don't look like any of the girls that are coming into this club. So bye, sorry, you can't come in. Or I have a fear that, again, I'm the unlucky one and my name isn't on the guest list, but everybody else's name is on the guest list. Even the person who didn't put their name down on the guest list and doesn't even want to go to the club, their name is on the guest list. So that's things regarding my friends. So anyway, I got to this point where, because life wasn't working out for me in terms of career, in terms of, what I was doing with my life, and I was in like a dead-end job. Then I didn't leave that dead-end job, but then I got redundant, and then I moved on to another dead-end job. You can see that I'm really winning at life. Friends were just, leaving my side. They'll be flaky, and they will only come to me if, I don't know, one of their best friends was unable to accompany them to a club or to lunch or to holiday. Then they'll remember, oh yeah, that girl Jemima, let's see what's going on with her, let's see if she's available. And I knew it, they knew it. In the words of Nene Leakes, that's if you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, I love that show, we saw each other, So anyway, I decided to just take a break from friends, and I got very much into myself, and I just started to spend more time with myself. I didn't bother, trying to make any friends. I did so many things by myself. I would go for walks by myself, go to lunch, go to dinner. And this is even times when I had a boyfriend. Oh, that's going to be in another episode, boyfriend stuff. there were just so many things that I was doing by myself. By the way, I hope that what I'm saying is making sense. I just talk and I ramble and I'm losing my train of thought now. Anyway, back to the friendship thing. So because life wasn't working out for me, and because I knew that my friends were just using me as and when they needed me, I distanced myself from them, and we never had like a showdown. I never spoke to them about anything. We just, distanced ourselves from each other. And through that distance, I then felt really embarrassed to make another friendship group. I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe nobody wants to hang around with me or be with me because the things that I am into, like dancing to 80s music, having bubble baths, going for walks, watching movies and watching foreign movies at that as well, it's not, you can't see what I'm doing, but in inverted commas, it's not cool. So I thought, okay, let's just distance myself and let's just be with me. And you can say that, okay, yeah, that's good, but at the same time, it's not so good, because I don't think us humans were conditioned in that way to be by ourselves. And I'm not even necessarily talking in the romantic sense, but friendship wise, you do need friends. You do need people around you to support you and encourage you and lift you up and talk to somebody, if you are fortunate to have a friend that you're able to talk to about whatever it is that you're going through, So anyway, I say all of that to say that, when was it now? I think it was like earlier on this year. I thought, okay, I've started this Instagram page, which is about mental health and encouraging people and encouraging myself and talking about my experiences and how I'm feeling and what I'm going through. I've done that. Let's make some friends. And I was oh my gosh, I was literally pissing myself, like shitting my knickers, because I thought, oh, this is the one thing that okay, it's not the one thing I was really scared about doing. It was one of many. But the thing is, I would have to put myself out there. I would have to engage with people. I would have to tell them about myself. I would have to present myself out there. And then it's up to them as to whether or not they accept me or not. Does it make sense? I hope that made sense. So anyway, I also find it a bit harder to make friends as an adult as opposed to when you are a child, I feel. But again, maybe that's just me. So anyway, I got on this app called Meetup, fantastic app. And I, give yourself a pat on the back, Jemima. I actually started going and meeting up with certain women in London and going to things that I actually enjoyed going and doing. Going for afternoon tea, going for a picnic, going for drinks. And I was like, you know what, this is actually kind of fun. And through that, now I've actually met like 5 really great young ladies, well, all of the same age group. And there's a moment where you're at dinner or lunch or wherever your friends, new friends, and you start to have that conversation of what it is you're doing in life, and are you with anyone, and do you live by yourself, and blah 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 blah. And I thought, oh God, here we go, here's that conversation, here's where I'm going to be open and honest and tell them about myself, and they're gonna bounce, they're gonna leave the table, friendship is done. But I thought, no, let's face this fear and let's just do it. We're still friends now. Hey! We're still friends. And I thought it felt nice. It felt nice facing one of my fears. And I've got many fears, but it felt nice facing one of my fears and not knowing what the outcome would be. And my now new friends actually saying, oh, I don't really care if you haven't got the most stable job. I don't really care if, you were made redundant and you had to leave your old flat and now you're living with your mum again. I don't really care about that. You seem like a lot of fun. Let's hang out. What you doing next week? Shall we do drinks? And I'm like, yes, let's do drinks, because I have no social life And it felt really, really nice. So what I'm saying to all of you beautiful, lovely people out there is take a leap of faith. You don't need to do anything huge or drastic. Start small. Small is good. Some people always underestimate small things. Don't underestimate the small things, because it's those small things that can lead to really, really big things. Start small and see where it takes you. Every day, do a little something, a little something, a little something, a bit more than before. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. And if, like me, making friends is something that you find quite daunting, don't let that discourage you. Don't let the fear of somebody rejecting you discourage you. Because, to be frank, rejection is part of life. Yeah. You will never go through life without being rejected. Some people, unfortunately, are rejected by their family. They're rejected by their relationships, like romantic relationships. Friends will reject you. Jobs will reject you. Rejection is life. We just have to face it head on, know who we are inside, be confident with who we are. And this is where self-love comes in. Self-love is not all about bubble baths and face masks and getting your hair done and going to the barbers and getting a fresh trim. That's all lovely. Take care of yourself, groom yourself, clean yourself, feel fresh. Self-love is also about knowing your self-worth, knowing who you are inside, knowing what you bring to the table, knowing your value in a humble way. Be humble. Humility is good. Don't be a big head. Nobody likes a big head. So I say to you, this episode is going to go out tomorrow, which is Monday. Monday for some people is the start of the working week. For me, not the start of the working week, but the start of the week is on a Saturday. And I say, as you're listening to this, I would say whatever it is that you are fearful about, face it head on. If there's somebody that you fancy, go and ask them out. What's the worst that they're going to do? They're just going to say no. If some idiot decides to, share it with the company or share it with the school, that's their business. Be like, yeah, you know what, I did ask you out, or I did want to ask you out, and you've just shown me that you're an absolute twit. So, I don't really want to go out with you. No, just be confident in yourself. Know what you bring to the table. Take a small leap of faith and just see where it takes you. See where it takes you. Start tomorrow. Think about it. What was the first question that I asked at the start of this podcast? What is fear to you? Once you know what fear is to you, think about how you can face that fear and thus overcome that fear. And, work through it. We've all got many, many fears. I'm not the only one. Like I said, I've got loads of fears. Absolutely loads. So guys, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I hope, as always, I do hope that you got something from this episode. I know I ramble a lot. I know I fumble over my words. I know I'm not that articulate, but it's a, how can I call it? It's a rustic performance, isn't it? I don't know. As always, if you want more content from me, you can head over to my Instagram page, which is OurMinds2020. I will be back again next week, dropping an episode Monday at 6:00. And as always, everyone, remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and go live your life. God bless you all. Take care. Bye.